no, I can never go back now. No, oh no, no, no. Peace, blessing, love, and light. It's your girl Divinely Guided D. Um, just so you know, you might be hearing a couple of things only because there's some news watching going on. There's some child show, kid show going on, and then there's this. So just letting you know, it's a full house. It is blazing hip hop and R&B. For those of you from New York, that's what they used to say on Hot 97. Hot 97 blazing hip hop and R&B. I'm from a certain town. But that's what's going on. It's like I think it was like 95 degrees today, so I'm showing a little skiing. Just a little skiing. Some AC going on, but I'm not as close to the device as I should be. So, what did I come here for? I decided that I was going to review Divorce Sistas. And to be honest with you, I think it's really Latoya Luckett and Kadeen that's making me really like. Oh, and Portia. The fact that I haven't really seen Portia around like that. Portia was someone that I used to see in a lot of films, shows, a lot of cameos. She was in a music videos as well. She was an it girl. A lot of these women were it girls. Latoya Luckett, she's in this show as well. She's probably my favorite Destiny Child, to be honest with you. I used to play Not Anymore, Torn. So she came out when I was she debuted, I would say, when I was in middle school. So I knew Latoya Luckett from The Writings on the Wall. You know, we had who didn't have that album, I felt like. You know what I'm saying? Especially from the community at this point. Um what is it? Thou Chanel Bug or something like that. Anyway, there was always like a little intro. Um right, well, intro and outro in the song, and that whole album was good anyway. So um nostalgia basically is what led me to want to review this. Anywho, let me see. Let me pull up. Mm, what am I doing? Yes. Uh-huh. Let me see. So that way it's not just moi. I can never go back. No, no. Okay. Voila. Am I pointing the I'll get that eventually. Okay, so I was dedicated. I initially made some it's leftover now, but it was like some yellow rice. I had like some smothered chicken and some plantains. Plantain. Some people say plantain, like mountain. Little Junebug is over there, clearing his throat for a bit. But anyway, so let's get down to it. So we have Divorce Sisters, season 1, episode 1. So this show came out June 10th on BET, and I've been watching it on Amazon Prime. Okay, with the BET subscription, of course. So we open up with Kadeen in a car driving with her friend Tiffany. They're apparently in a carpool. We learn that they've been friends for 20 years. Their immediate circle. Um, they're just having conversation in the car. We find out that Tiff, who's on the passenger side, she has like she wears more of an afro. Geneva is the driver's in the driver's seat. She's played by Kadeen Ellis, and she's wearing this nice green it's like a jade outfit. So they've been friends since college. So we find out that Tiff is now a single mother, and she's recently divorced, and she has a college age child. So we see that Rashida's mentioned, and I put she's the prayer friend of the group. You know, she's the religious one, I guess. Um, let me see. So she's briefly mentioned. So we're getting a gist of the circle. So we have Geneva, who's a little more posh. She's the driver. We see Tiffany, who's just going through a recent divorce, and like I mentioned before, Tiffany has a college age child. We have Rashida. Um, they talk about Geneva talks about how she and William need a break, and they plan on going to Italy. Tiffany also agrees that this vacation is definitely necessary for the couple. Their other friend Naomi gets mentioned. Apparently, based on Tiffany, Naomi has been giving the group basically hell because she's going through her own issues, her own relationship struggles. Um, Tiffany gets called out by Kadine's character by Geneva because Tiffany wants to watch Geneva's child, is willing to watch Geneva's child because she's avoiding dealing with her own issues, which is that in all actuality, this woman has been divorced for 3 years now and has not been with anyone other than her ex husband. So that in itself is telling you that she is still healing. She's not the type of woman that clearly sleeps around because she would have already been underneath somebody else. You know, that's what the saying is, in order to get over a man, you have to go under a new one. I don't believe in that, but um, I don't judge those who do. I think that some people are reactionary, more reactive than logical, and sometimes they need to get that off before the logic kicks in. And I would say that if you are a self-aware adult who is into consent and who's into I'm gonna just leave it there. If you're self-aware and you know that you're not gonna be codependent after, and it's just kind of like just to get the rocks off, then I don't see where that's an issue. But if you're just someone who is so codependent on having body heat so much that you can't be by yourself, or you don't understand that you're just doing that just for that purpose, then no. If you're just a serial dater, or you just leave one thing and you just hop on to the next just because you can't be, like I said, just because you are codependent, no. But anywho, so we see that Tiffany is clearly not that type. So it was funny when Geneva was like, "It's been a long 3 years, my girl." Basically, um, the other friend. So far they're naming Okay, so far we have Geneva, we have Tiffany, who's on the passenger side. We have Naomi. No, they mentioned Rashida, who's the prayer friend. Um, Naomi, who's driving them nuts, and now they're mentioning loose lip Bridget. And Bridget works with Rashida, and Rashida is played by Latoya Luckett. So while carpooling, the school staff gives a condescending vibe and implies that Geneva does not go to the school often like her husband and the maid, um, or the nanny. She said the nanny. Geneva catches on and she does one of those grins like, "You lucky my child is in this car right now, and I'm trying to keep it cute for Princess right now." That's what it's giving. Like, bitch, what are you trying to say? Just because you don't see me here doesn't mean I'm not active in my child's life. That lady, I felt like she crossed the line because it really seemed as if she had something going on with this lady's husband. We like both parents to be involved. We don't see you often like your husband and the nanny. I would have been pissed. I would have been pissed, and I would have been like, lady, what do you? I would have been like, sweet, to my child, cover your ears, and I would have stepped out. Like, what are you trying to say? Is there something that I need to know? Are you being unprofessional with me and need to? Is there something we need to address? Is there? Anyway, so I felt like that was disrespectful. But I'm glad Geneva caught on. That's one thing. Sometimes, with Tyler Perry, you never know. Sometimes he may lead you on a goose chase, and the person just might be slow and just unable to see the signs. But then there are other times where it's like he doesn't waste any time, and you see everything that's going on, and he lets you know, okay, there's something going on here at the school. Geneva, pay attention. And we find out Geneva's a lawyer, so good. All right. Next scene, we see Rashida, which is Latoya Luckett, Bridget, and loose lip Bridget, and Rashida's husband, played by Devon Franklin. His name is Jeff. So Devon Franklin is also Megan Good's ex-husband. Mm. I made a smoothie. Excuse me. Some mixed berries, um, little dairy in there, some cinnamon. I got some protein in there. Where we got some almond butter, a little shum shum. So Pastor Jeff is played by Megan Good's ex, Devon Franklin. He and Rashida seem a little bit off, um, but we know that they definitely are a group of friends that know each other very well because Naomi's husband, ex-husband Franklin, has been invited to this event, this function that's happening tonight, that night on the show, and basically Jeff is like, Naomi's gonna have to get over it because they've been divorced. And so Rashida's now trying to figure out, how do I uninvite Naomi's crazy behind? Because if she shows up and she sees that this man is here, all hell is going to break loose. And nobody got time for that at a church function. And I do agree, though, that she does need to grow up, especially when you have friends in the same circle. You're going to see each other. Okay? That's why you got to be mindful before you get involved with individuals that roll in the same circle. But sometimes you can't help it. Let's say sometimes we see sororities that, you know, that have women from the chapter that date men from the same frat, or they have like that type of thing where those groups just hang around each other. So you're gonna see a lot of the same type of people, so to speak. Let me see. Jeff and Rashida seem tense. Their relationship is very I said Rashida seems tense, like he gets on her nerves. Like she's trying to keep it cute, but she's just like, you're not like one of those where you want to grab him by the collar. Like I told you. But you just try to save face. It seems like Rashida's the type of person that would save face. Like another Rashida. But I'm gonna leave that alone because, when you're everybody handles their marriage differently. Anyway, so shortly after we see the tense interaction, the tense energy, we see that Rashida walks out shortly um shortly after Jeff steps out, and she addresses him about undermining her in front of staff, but he rushes to go to some council meeting. He just keeps talking about how much he has to go, gotta go, all this going. And I think that is messed up for anybody to dismiss their partner, especially when their partner is letting them know, hey, like, I feel uncomfortable about something that's going on in our relationship. I think those things need to be addressed, especially if the person is swallowing their pride to keep their ego in check, so that way they don't bring issues at the time. And I felt like the way Rashida handled it, she handled it well, meaning, okay, I'm not going to go back and forth with you in front of the staff, but we do need to address what's going on because I feel highly disrespected when I'm in these meetings. You're asking how long it's going to take me to finish my meeting or my sermon, whatever it is that I'm doing. It's going to finish when it's going to finish, you know, because he was trying to make it seem as if she was rushing it. And I felt like she was rushing it because okay, I'm not sure what happened. You have like two or three other people at this meeting, so the last thing you want is to be disrespected by your spouse. Okay. Next scene is Naomi waiting for Geneva to ask if Geneva looked over her lawsuit. So apparently she's suing her her husband was something so silly. I said Naomi is a mess. Her ex-husband Franklin may be attending the event, which is happens to be a church function banquet. We see that Rashida is then crying in the office, and I said I think she is crying because she's overwhelmed. Bridget also encourages Rashida to share her burdens with the girls. So Bridget says, she doesn't really know what's going on and she doesn't really tell anybody what's going on and she needs to tell people when she's not okay. Rashida's character, like I mentioned earlier, she's saving face. She's the type of person that you would see her probably with her spouse or whomever, her partner for a long time, and you may think you will never know what's really going on behind closed doors unless he's sloppy or she really just lets it all out, right? But she's overwhelmed, and I think it's because she has this she took vows, yes, but she also works in the church. She's also counseling people when it comes to their relationships with with their marriages or with relatives, etc. So they're held to high regard. So when you have that type of pressure, you have to exercise some type of emotional intelligence because people are coming to you. You're seen as reliable. And then this is why sometimes some people refuse to really break down in front of others, because it's like, if I break down, then they'll know that ish is real and I'm slightly human. For some reason, when people become the go to, it almost feel like you're superhuman. Like you have no time for flaws. You have no time to have any hair out of place. You have no time for a mess, a scandal of any sort. But I do think that Rashida needs to express herself. But you know what? I can also understand why she may not feel comfortable coming to her group. Sometimes we, especially like I said before about being the go-to. Who are you gonna go to in your circle really if you are the go-to? It almost makes you feel like, hmm, should I disclose this? I don't know if I should disclose this because nobody really asked me what's going on with me. And that's another thing too. Ask your strong friends how they're doing. We hear this often, but we need to put it into practice. Okay? Um the girls plan what they'll do if Naomi loses it. So basically they know their girl is a loose cannon and they need to figure that out because this divorce for her is still fresh. She's obviously still not over it because she is suing him for the silliest things. Geneva is her lawyer and she threatened to fire Geneva, but based off of what Tiffany says, she's fired or Naomi has fired all the good lawyers in Atlanta. Okay. So Rashida lets Bridget know she has one person left to counsel. So she'll be off. She'll leave when she's ready. Anika says So Anika, remember, this is Geneva's daughter. She's just sitting in the living room because they already picked her up from school. Tiffany is still with Geneva, um, at Geneva's house sitting there. And so Anika says, "You're so damn fine." And Geneva learns her husband says that to a pretty lady. That's what Anika says. Tell daddy not to say that to the pretty lady or something like that. So the pretty lady also happens to be Maddie's mom. And Maddie goes to Anika's school. And mind you, the teacher earlier had mentioned that Geneva doesn't show up to the school as often for carpool like her husband and the nanny. So therefore, she wouldn't know that this is what's going on if her daughter had not let this slip. Mind you, her daughter, I believe, is like 7. hmm So then Geneva starts to lawyer Anika, but Tiffany lets her know that's what is happening. So Geneva stops, but she goes on her own little wild goose chase, and we see that later on. Bolo pops up. So Bolo was on Real Housewives of Atlanta. He's the one that's supposedly messing around with Portia. He's also the one on All the Queen's Men. He plays the softy. He's the one that had the baby, and the baby ends up getting hit by the car. Him and the girl. I forgot his name on the other show. But anyway, Bolo. Bolo pops up to Naomi's house. He asks Naomi several times if the house is hers. She is rude. I put she is rude and asks if he's gay and says he looks like he doesn't know much about Ish. She says SHIT. I said she is a bitter woman. I said he was messed up for implying she couldn't obtain her wealth independently, but I think that was also her guilty conscience, because he's actually right about Naomi's situation, meaning she got her home and everything that she seems to have left over. Oh, the money that she has, the wealth that she has now, it was from the divorce. So I think she's just sensitive because of that. We then see, like I mentioned before, Geneva goes on this goose chase to find out who Maddie is and who her mother is. She pops up at the school, pretends that her daughter forgot her teddy bear and that she will basically lose it if she doesn't have it. So she managed to sweet talk one of the maintenance guys, probably the only maintenance guy that seemed to be there, and he let her go look for it. In the classroom, she notices that oh, okay, Maddie. She sees a picture of Maddie. She gets a little bit of background information from the maintenance guy on Maddie's family, and they're a married couple. So basically, if there's anything going on, it's foul on both sides because both parties are married. That's what we know. Okay. Fast forward. I said Naomi is sad. She can't enjoy herself because she's bitter. So after she's done cursing out Bolo and stuff, we find out that basically he is just for hire. He is back page for hire. So until she is satisfied, she's not paying anything, and he says if he's not, then she will have to pay double. But anyway, that's when we saw the cut of the scene, and then Geneva, and then we're back to where I'm saying Naomi is sad. She's bitter. She can't seem to enjoy herself. I feel like if you have this fine specimen right there beside you, there's no reason why you need to be opening your laptop to go stalk the woman that your ex-husband left you for or is involved with at this current moment. Okay, and I get that sometimes it takes some people a while to process things. And I'm not gonna lie and say here as if I haven't been done wrong or someone did not hurt me. I'm trying to make sure I census that correctly. But anyway, if not, you know what I mean, right? So this is where we always have to remember that after a certain point, it is not the person's issue anymore what we choose to do with ourselves. This person, Naomi's character, was no longer married. She has this beautiful home that she's stalking her husband out of, ex-husband out of. Um, she could pay for a Backpage Craig's visit if she wanted to, which is what she did. And what is it? Bolo helps her with her fake page because that's what she did. As soon as she was done, they were done doing what they were doing. She flips open her laptop. First she asks him to leave, threatens him with a gun. Anyway, he's able to help get her through the fake page. Or she was successful with that. And I said, I agree with him where he says not every man is going to be nice. And I said not every man will accept her behavior, because you can't just be pulling out guns to just anybody. And mind you, this man is brolic. He's clearly more physically capable of dominating her if he really wanted to. So that's that. Um Bridget and Tiffany are at the nail salon acting like they don't know what they know about what they know. I wrote it like that too. So remember, Bridget is the one that works with Rashida, and they work at the church. Tiffany was the one that was riding with Geneva. So Tiffany knows that Geneva suspect that something's going on with her husband and one of the parents at school. Bridget knows that there's something off with Rashida and her husband Jeff, played by Devon Franklin. So right now they're both at the nail salon with each other. Um, and so one of the things that stood out to me was when Tiffany said, "Why do we do this? They're our friends. It's like," and I've noticed this a lot too. You can have a circle, a group of friends, but there's always gonna be cliques within the clique. And I've I guess that's just the way it is, until then the group is ready to share. But usually one person already knows before the rest of the group. And that's just how it is. Unless you just have the group chat where it's really like we're all just loyal to this group chat. But for the most part, it is what it is. So then after a while, then they share with each other, hey, this is what's going on with Rashida right now. She don't know what's going on with Jeff. So then Tiffany is like, well, what Naomi thinks about him, right? And then Bridget is like, Naomi hates every man. So they had that little conversation. And we found out that Bridget is with a man named Vaughn. And they're in a process. That's just that. So, like I mentioned before, Tiff hears that Rashida and Jeff are not on the same page and something is off. And then this is where the doo-doo hits, right? We find out that the person that Rashida is counseling had called, I think, like 10 times apparently that day, and is sleeping with Jeff. And that is where the episode ends. We see this young looking woman, this younger woman. She looks like maybe she would be considered early 20s, or maybe late teens, early 20s. That's what she gives me, you know. But she says she's sleeping with Jeff. And that is where that ends. So I have committed to the first episode. And let me know what you think. I think that this show has a lot of potential. It has a good cast so far. I think that if TP stays clear with the storyline and does not give us too much of a runaround, like the way I think he did with Sistas. With Sistas, I was like, how long is this woman going to be pregnant? Who the F is the father? it was just too much. It was just too much. It was just too much. But I'm gonna end this on a happy note, and I'll be optimistic. So with that being said, your girl is here to stay. Stay tuned for the next. Oh, and please stay hydrated. It's hot. I'm hot just like an oven.